let's go to n8n now, right? n8n.io. So this is what we'll build. So I don't need this right now. When you come to the home page, I'll repeat this. When you come to the home page, so to say, you'll see this view where you have on the top, you have these tabs: workflows, credentials, execution, and data tables. In my case, because I've been using this for a while now, you see there's a lot of stuff here, okay? Maybe 100 plus workflows, but you will not have those, right? You'll just have a blank space, okay? There won't be anything over here. So there will be workflows. This is where each of your process is. Then there will be credentials. This is what you'll be using to connect to different systems. Yes. So for instance, I'm using Superbase. So there will be a connection to Superbase. I'm using Hostinger for hosting stuff, Google stuff, right? So Notion, OpenAI account. So many things, right? So all of these, Redis account for caching and stuff. Anyway, all of these, you'll see that there will be a connection which we'll have to create. And once you create a connection, it is usable, right? You can come and modify and so on. There will be executions. So when something runs, you'll have execution. So you can go in and check, how the execution was. You also have notion of data tables, which is like tables which are storage inside of n8n, which you can modify, which is not too important at this point. Okay. But what's important to know is you have workflows, you will create credentials, and this will allow you to connect to systems. And if things are executing, you can go in and check. Like for instance, I ran this thing a moment ago, right? When I give you a dummy or example of this, right? That particular form which we filled, right? And here you can come in and see, oh, okay, on form submission, this is the image we had gotten, right? The AI agent worked. This is the output from here, and do JSON sample. All of these details have come up here. And then, so you can like in detail trace the full path, right? How the information went from one place to the other, right? How the flow was. So this is super good because now you can, I mean, this can also be, in a console or whatever if you'd like, but this is also very visually available to you, right? Which is super, super powerful, super neat. So, so you see, you have executions also. Let me go back. So n8n gives you all of this, all right? So it's this. Okay. Okay, right. Let me share my, okay, something's up. Something funny is up. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let me go back. Okay, so here, this is where we are. And here we will create our workflow now. Okay, so create workflow. Everyone with me? Are you all into n8n? Are you signed in? Are you logged in? Okay, are you folks logged in? No, please. What do I do? Okay, let's do this. Okay, what I'll do, by the way, guys, because because most of you are not familiar with n8n so much, I will simplify this a little bit more. The image, putting the image into a storage, that part I will skip, but you will still have image extraction and putting it into a database. All right. So that should be fine. Naeem says, can you do from local, please? Naeem, I'll have to, it will take some time, right? It's the same. In fact, local has more features than the online one, right? Local will be better for you. I mean, online will be better for you. And it's the same, really. I mean, you'll see many more options than I would see, really. So because local, yeah, it's not, doesn't have to be that stable or whatever, right? So local has many, many more things in general. Everything comes on local 1 month before it comes on to the online version. So if you're using local, you have a more powerful option. Okay. Right. So let's create the workflow. So if you're ready, let's click on create workflow now. And this is it. Um, this is your playground, so to say. This is where you will do everything you need to do. And this is your canvas, playground, whatever. One of the first things you should do is give this workflow a name, right? So you can just call it something, driving license validation. I will name it point two because I have a point one. You can call it something else, my first workflow if you'd like, whatever you want, right? So driving license validation. This is a name. It is saved, you can see. Also to know it is inactive right now. So meaning that this is just on your system, right? There's nothing, it's not functioning, it's not live. It doesn't have a form which anyone can access. It's just there, okay? Like a simple form. It's a simple blank canvas really, there's nothing else, right? You can add a description to this workflow by that if you like. Okay? But coming back to your canvas, this is where you will add the things. Remember, we need to add a trigger. So what starts this workflow? Yes, you have to add a trigger. And you also need to define the core actions. Now, in our case, if you remember, I will add a note over here, okay? Just to not go into a different. If you click on this on the right side, there's a note. This is a note, okay? You can double click on this and you can just type it, okay? In our case, what we want is collect user image using a form. Number one, step number one, yes. Step number two, what we want is extract image information or extract text from the image, right? Number three, validate if license is valid or license status. And then number four, you want is you want to give it back to the form is number one. So, but before that, you want to add a row to database. Yes. And finally, result to or show result to user. Yes. This is what we do. I've skipped the part about adding that image into a storage bucket because it's unnecessary complication in this matter. Okay. So let's get started with this. So you have at least this thing, right, where you fetch the information and you're able to put it somewhere. That it itself is good enough. So number one, trigger will be the form. Whenever someone fills the form, this workflow should run. So you go on the right, you can click on this plus sign, or you can stay here, you can hit a tab. Some people love this tab stuff, so it's good for them to know. But yeah, you can say again, you can click on this plus sign and you can search for the nodes. And in our case, we want it to be coming from a form. So we'll find a form, you'll see n8n form, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be a manual trigger. It can be something, let's say something happens on Telegram. Then this runs, that could be something, or it can be run every day, or it could be on a webhook call, right? So this workflow is here. There is a front end somewhere else where someone passes the information to you. This webhook then starts. The webhook then gets this, the whole work, which is the workflow runs, and you respond to the webhook, right? So, and here is what we have is on form submission, right? On form submission on chat message and so on. There's many, many ways, okay? So in our case, we want on form submission, okay? Here, so on form submission, or you could also just search for form. So n8n form, you'll see, I mean, in my case, I already added this, but yeah, on new n8n form event, okay? On form submission, on form in whatever, but let's do this again, form, n8n form, and you can say on new n8n form event, and you get this kind of a, okay? So with me so far, everyone? So what have we done so far? We opened a new workflow. We went here, we do a plus sign, we search for form, we see n8n form. You click on this, you see there's a trigger because we want triggers right now, right? Want to be triggered. And you say on new n8n form event. So you click on this and this opens up. You can, for now, hit escape and get rid of this or click outside this thing to get back to the canvas, okay? What has happened is this, right? So you had a blank canvas and now you have a node which essentially enables this workflow to start when someone fills a form. But this form right now is, of course, it is blank, right? There's nothing in the form. So this is something you need to configure. Also notice that when you come to this form, there will be a URL over here. So this depends on your your ID and everything. So for me, it's like user ID based really, app.in. I'm using cloud, so I get this cloud version. Exactly same thing will work on your local as well. Okay. So anyhow, this is test URL. For testing, you will have a test URL. The production URL will be very similar. Instead of form-test, you will just have form. Okay. Everything else will remain the same. So this is the form URL. Now, authentication, you can keep none for now. It's okay. Now, the form itself, right now, it's completely blank. It has literally nothing. But we can start adding things, right? We can add things like, give it something, okay? Something like, what was it? Click and drive or pick and drive. Pick and drive license upload, yeah, portal. Something like this, right? And you can say, okay, upload high quality images of your driving license, wait, right? Um, wait a moment, wait a couple of moments for validation. And then you are ready to go. Something like this, okay? Just that. So this is a very, very simple basic form. At this point, it has no inputs. It only has a title. It has a simple description, okay? Let's see. Oh, someone says my pace is too slow. Yeah, Ash, we when we started this, right, maybe you missed in the beginning, we saw that 80% people have not used n8n. So we're kind of like going slow so that everyone is able to, yeah, match the pace, right? Or not completely be lost. So at least follow to some extent and later watch the recording to keep up, right? So form is here, and then we are like, okay, so now you add a description. Now you click out of this, you hit on save, okay, it saves. Now this form, if I execute this workflow, what will happen is actually a interface or website in a way, or page will come up, okay? So it has come up. You won't see this, but let me just share this as well, okay? You can't see this right now. But when I did this, you see, this came up, okay? And this is a test version of your form. And whatever we wrote over there, pick and drive license upload portal, upload high quality images for driving license, wait a couple of moments, validation, you're ready to go. This stuff has come, right? This is a form. And now when you click on submit, this will trigger the rest of the workflow, okay? Also, you see there's a small note over here, form automated with n8n, you can get rid of it also. But anyway, but the submit button, this is what will trigger the rest of the workflow. So let's click on submit, right? And let me go back to the main workflow we had, okay? Right, so you see once this form ran, now you see there is one item here, okay? This is the output of this. Right now there is no input, so the output is nothing really. It only has basic details. So if you come here, you'll see form was submitted at, and form mode is test mode. This is the information right now which comes in the output. So again, if you see this interface here, on the left you will have input, in the middle you have the node configuration, and on the right side you have the output. And when you fill this form with just a test submission, there was no input, right? No data really. So, but we still captured things like when it ran. This is, I think this is UTC timestamp. Yeah, UTC 11:30. And then there is a test mode. Okay. So this is, it does. But of course, you want more info, right? So what we want to capture is, you want to capture the image which we need to analyze. Okay. So there's a question. Please ask questions in Q&A, right? So input output schema of this, we'll see all of this in a moment. Yeah. Okay. Now this form is to be updated. Now what do we need to do? We have to add a form element. Currently, no elements exist, no items exist. So add form element. What do you want? We keep it very simple. We just take the image. Okay, that's it. So add form element, and the field name is important. So let's say submit. No, this is image upload. Okay, because later during the workflow we will refer to this image upload name. Okay, so image upload. Okay, now what is this type? Text? No, we want a file from the user. So we do a drop down here, go to a file. Okay, and you click on a file. Do you want to allow multiple files? No, we only want one file. Okay? So image upload, we call it, this is a name we are giving. You can give whatever, but later we have to use it in the workflow. Then what type? It is a file. What file types are allowed? So you can leave empty to allow all file types, which we don't want. We want a little bit of control here. So we want common image formats. So .jpeg, .jpeg, .bmp, right? .webp. What else? Did I miss something very common? .png. Okay. Let's keep it simple for now. Okay. So you have .png as well. So let's say we have these five. Okay? Five formats right now. You can add more if you would like. Okay. Now, is this a required field? Yes, of course, this is a required field. If we don't get this, we can't work with this. This is super important. Okay. So with this configuration, if you see what we did again, we added a field, add form element. This is image upload. We gave it this name. We say we want a file. We said we don't want multiple files. We want one single file, which is the image. And because we want to ensure it as an image, we gave some standard image formats. You could also add more image formats if you'd like. Okay. And then, is this a required field? You say, yes, this is a required field. Right. Now, notice when you did this, when you come to this drop down, you see there are many other types of elements also. You can have checkboxes, you can have custom HTML codes, right? And the moment you have custom HTML codes, you understand that you can do better looking forms also. So you can have nice custom HTML, and perhaps, using this form itself, you can make something much better looking than what we have. Okay. So just to know that there is an option. We're not using it right now because of a time constraint, but there is an option. Okay. You can have dates, drop downs, emails. You can have a hidden field. You can have number, password, radio buttons, text, and text area as well. So there's a lot of options. You can customize this form to a great extent. Okay. Right. Now our form, let me save this, Control S. And now if I run this, form, if I execute the step, okay, click on execute step, you'll see it is slightly different. Okay. Now here, you see this. Now you see the text was there, like before, text is still there, but you have an image upload option. Okay. And then you have a submit option. Simple as that, right? So choose file. I already have some files on my system for samples. So let's say, let me take this one. Okay. DL sample 3. So I have uploaded a file and I click on submit. Right now, when I click on submit, it will simply send this image in the background. It won't do anything else, but that is enough for now to begin, right? This is a good starting point. So I upload a file, I click submit. You might also just, find online some sample driving license image or something. Okay, it should be very straightforward. Just find some sample image online and you should be able to use it. Okay, you click on submit. Cool. Form right now, standard response. Your response has been recorded. Form submitted. All good. Let's close this. Let's come back to this. What happened here? Okay. Now the form has run. You see there is one item over here. What is that item? Let's open this because now we have a real input. You see, now there is an image upload. Image name was dl-sample3.jpg, file extension JPEG. MIME type is image/JPEG, and file size. You can view this if you'd like over here, right? You can also view files inside here. This is also very useful. And you can download if you'd like. We're seeing this binary. So this is also important. Images, right? Files are passed as binary, okay? Binary format. So whenever there's a file, you'll see this binary come up. If the file is not there, it's just, it's regular. This JSON table and schema are enough. But whenever there is a file, you'll also see binary come up, okay? So image upload, the name is image upload here of the field, which you have to look at. And this is the file name and stuff. We'll quickly come to this. Cool. Also, a small thing, there was this. let's also take a look at this form, okay? And within the form, if I go here, form response, form path, yeah, there's also custom styling just for closure, okay? You don't have to do it right now. There's custom styling. So you can change the form and stuff. You see there's also, a code over here. So you can add custom styling if you'd like. I'm removing it right now, I don't care. And you also have other things like, okay, form response, form path, button label, and so on. So right now it is submit. We keep it to submit. We can also change what it looks like and time zones and everything, right? A lot of things can be changed, okay? And n8n attribution. This is, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. So this is what we have. And now we have the information collected. Step number 1, done, right? So collect user image, this is done. Okay. The next step is extract the text from the image. Okay. Now, to do so, as I mentioned earlier, we will use Google Gemini 2.5 Flash, which can handle images really well. And it is cheap, it is fast. Okay. We will use that, but we need to use it inside an AI agent module. Okay. That single AI agent module will extract the image, will also validate the image, will also give a structured output. Okay, 3 things. So let's now see how to use an AI agent inside of n8n. And it's really very straightforward. Go to the plus sign, just search for AI agent. You get AI agent, of course, it's very easy. And you just click on it or drag and drop to the canvas. And you see this thing. You can click outside or hit escape and you're out, okay? Right, I'll repeat the step. Again, plus sign or tab, then search for agent and you have AI agent. And you click escape so that you're not stuck over there, okay? Now, this is your AI agent. Now, what does an AI agent need to work? Right? If you folks have any awareness of AI agents, fundamentally it has 3 things. Okay. One, it needs a brain, right, which is some sort of a large language model. That is what we will use Google Gemini for. Gemini will be the large language model over here. Okay. Second is the memory. So you can give it a simple memory. You don't have to have it complex. It's not much. Maybe for our application, memory is not even needed. Maybe it's a single turn thing, or maybe you can have a simple memory. It's okay. And finally, there is tools. So tools is what will allow the agent to do things, do this or update something, right? There's many ways to do that as well. Okay. But and this agent, by the way, this is fairly complex thing, very capable thing in n8n. You can have an agent, you can have another agent which becomes an agent. It's like you have agent within agent kind of stuff. So you can have an agent which calls another agent as a tool and stuff like that. Okay. There's a lot of different tools available. You see this, right? HTTP request tool, code, tool to write code. There's an MCP client tool, right? There's MongoDB vector store. There's other vector stores. Then there is Airtable tools, right? There is so many things. AWS Lambda tool, right? GCP tools and stuff. There's marketing software, CRMs, right? All of them are possible to do, right? ConvertKit, translation, and so on. So there's no shortage of tools. So you attach all of these tools to the AI agent, you give it a brain, you give it simple memory, and then based on your commands, the AI agent will decide what tool to use. What do I do now? What do I do next? And so on. Okay, that's the simple idea. So let's just connect this to this as the input. Cool. Now this is connected, as you can see, and now you need to give it a chat model. This is mandatory to have a chat model, of course. We cannot function without a brain. So you do a plus, okay? And when you go here, we will be needing Gemini, okay? So Google Gemini chat model, right? So is my screen clearly visible to you all? Yeah, okay, it is. Right, so search for Google Gemini chat model, okay? And when you can click on it, you can drag and drop whatever, right? You can do whatever you like, okay? And again, whenever you drag something, it opens this up. So it's very annoying. So you can just say escape, okay? And it comes here. So now you'll see it has connected this to chat model because it figured out there's nothing else to connect it to. All good so far. And there is a Google Gemini chat model done. but you need to have credentials for this. Yes, so that's something we'll see in a moment, okay? Let's also give it some memory. So simple memory. Simple memory stores in n8n, no credentials required. So for beginners, right? So just take this. Of course, you can also have chat in Redis, Postgres, many more things. Okay, many more things. You can also, in fact, if you don't have direct memory nodes over here, you can also use the HTTP node to use whatever system you'd like, right? Externally. So let's take a simple memory from here and attach it. Okay, and done. I mean, this is all fine. This is, you can skip this, whatever. Okay, in fact, for our use case, memory is not so important, but anyway, because we'll not have, we won't be having multiple turns back and forth, like, customer will not be chatting with the system. You could even remove memory if you'd like. By the way, it will still work because it's a one-time input you're giving, okay? So in general, it's good to have memory if you're doing like a chat kind of thing, or you need to retain things, but in our application, we don't even need to have memory, okay? But in general, it's good to have memory. We don't need it right now, right? So there is a chat model, there is a memory. Now, the chat model is what you need to have a connection to. Remember, credentials. You need credentials for the chat model now. Now, where do you get this? So I have a credential. So, but where do I get this now, right? Let's say I want to create a new credential. Okay. And no, let me just say, create a new one. I have many, but I create a new one. I'm using webinar test or webinar key, but anyway, create a new credential. And you'll see this is the host, and you need an API key. That's all you really need. Okay. So for this, to get this, you could head on to aistudio.google.com. Okay. And you can say get API key. So aistudio.google.com. Okay. Just go over there. This is one of the fastest ways. I mean, if you already have an API key, please, feel free to use your Google API key. Okay. But you could say get API key. I have a few over here, but you can say create your own API key over here. Okay. It will be a Gemini API key. You can give it whatever name, for webinar, Gemini for whatever, driving license. Okay. And you won't have a project. So I think you'll have to create a project first time. So this is one way to do, okay? Create a project, and it will take maybe just a few moments, and you can just create a project, okay? Or call it whatever you like, okay? So you can create a project. And then once you do it, you will get a key. And that key, you have to copy the key, okay? Copy the API key. And this, I hope, because most of you have experience with development, this should not be a challenge, okay? So essentially get a key from here. And yeah, let's see. We need to have bought Gemini to, no, not necessarily, Felix, because if you go to AI Studio, a fair amount of usage is free to you. I think you can go to a good level without having any purchase made. So it's just a good amount is free for you. Maybe up to, I don't know, $300 something. It's a good amount which is free. So if you haven't used it before, now is a good time. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, let me know how long time it's for some while. Yeah, it's for a while. I think key is valid, but I think the trial period is for 3 months or 6 months. So you can use the API key for 3 months easily. Okay, no worries. Okay, right. 3 to 6 months, I imagine, or until the money runs out, whatever, right? See, you see, right? There's a free tier over here. I have a free tier, yeah, in the bottom, as you can see, which I'm highlighting right now. There's a free tier. So this free tier, there is no billing, and I set it up in December, right? December 2025. So yeah, it's running for now, 2 months plus, right? So yeah, cool. Let's come back. So once you get the API key, you put the key here and you're good to go. Okay. I won't save this because I already have multiple keys. This one is fine. So this will not change what is on top. This API key will change. Just add this key and you're done. Okay. You say test connection and it will be fine. Cool. So this is it. Here you have to select Gemini 2.5 Flash for now. Don't overthink this right now. There's more options, but just go with this for now. Okay, it's a good all-round option. And click outside and just Control S and you save. Just keep saving it. You don't want to lose your work. Okay, right. This is done. Now, so we have this, we have the AI agent, we have chat model connected. Okay, how many of you could do the API? Just let me know. You're done with the API, you're ready. Okay, API is done. All right, perfect. Then let's continue. So now the AI agent has the brain attached, but it still doesn't know what it is supposed to do, right? And with what data. So that's the next step we have to figure out. We have to configure this AI agent node. Okay. So double click on this node, right? Double click on this node. There's a question, where do I get the connector? Which connector? Can someone just maybe look into it and answer Augustina's question? Right. So double click on this, you're there, right? Now, where should the input to this AI agent come from? That is the first thing to set up. Okay. And as you notice here, there is on the left, there is input, on the right, there is the output and logs, which is standard. Okay. With AI agents, you also need to understand what the whole process was, not just the output, but what steps it had to take. Yes. So that's what you need. So logs will be very helpful in making sure the AI agent is behaving correctly, and this will be the final output. Okay. So let's do. There's a question by Augustinus. Let me just address that. So Augustinus, when AI agent is like this, right, without anything connected, you can click on plus here, right, and you go on the right. So this will open up chat model, and you can just search for Google Gemini chat model. Okay, and it will connect it. Cool. Uh, yes, I hope this helps now, right? Okay, I suppose you got the answer. Perfect. Cool. So now it has this, it has a chat model, you open it up. Now, on the left, you have the input, right? You have the output and logs. Logs, as I said, are important for agents. And then you have the configuration of this particular agent. Now, how should it get the input? Connected chat trigger node. No, we don't have a chat, right? We don't have a guardrails node. We have a define below. So what does define below do? Define below says use an expression to reference data in the previous nodes. That is exactly what we want. We want data from the previous nodes. So click on define below. Okay, right. And here is where you have to give the behavior of this agent. The agent needs to know what it is supposed to do. Yes. So here is where you have to give it a prompt. And again, prompting itself is a different topic. We don't worry about it so much here right now, but prompting itself is something you need to know. So let me just open this slide here. But in our case, I will give you a prompt, okay? This is a prompt. I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this. All right. You're a professional. This is a standard thing. You're a professional driving license verification system. Extract the following fields from the provided driving license image, right? We say it explicitly. Extract these fields. First, extract these fields, like full name, license number, date of birth, license issue date, expiry, and class of license. It will do a good job of extracting all of this. Next, you say verify the license is currently valid by comparing with the license expiry date with today's date. And this, you see, is actually a JavaScript variable, okay, which is now, current time. Next, you add a status message. If license is valid, you say license is invalid, you say license is invalid. Please update the latest valid license image. A license is proper and valid, you say license successfully uploaded. Please continue with the rental process. Cool. You also specifying that you have to return the response as JSON. And you also say that specifically extract the dates in this particular format. Why? Because we want control. Oh, right. We want structured output. So date of birth, license issue, expiry, all three will be dates, and we need to make sure the formats are rigid. Otherwise, you know how bad it can be, right? Sometimes it takes European style, sometimes it takes US style, and the system doesn't really work. Okay. This is the prompt. I will put this prompt in the chat window for all of you to also use. Okay, where is it? Yeah, chat window? Chat window is here. Okay. And the chat prompt is with you, and you can come back here and enter the prompt in chat. Okay. And you can see here, the prompt is added exactly the same, right? First do this, next verify, right? And next add status, return the response as JSON, extract date in this format, okay? All of these details are here. So just copy and paste the prompt I've given you. Don't worry about optimizing it or anything. Just go ahead with it, okay? And again, escape and control S, so you are there, okay? Now, this is still not done. There's still much to do, but let's see. Now, this has been given. This is the chat model is here, right? Cannot copy and paste. Okay, I have no idea what to do with this. Is it something with your Dipali, is it copying enabled for everyone?
Yes, they can copy it.
Okay, I think others have been copied. Some have not been able to copy. Okay, that's interesting.
I'll just reshare the message, the prompt again. You can like try
Okay,
it.
yeah, all right, perfect. So I'll continue, people, while the prompt we also share maybe later along with the recording, perhaps. Okay, all the prompts that we use. Okay, the full workflow. Maybe we could share the JSON completely. You will have all the prompts, all right? So this is done, right? But let's see if this works well. Okay, so you see this image is already here. On the left, you see something in the input. Okay, right. But this will not work. Why? Because the prompt is here, but where is the image, right? It needs to know the image to take. And the image is a binary. I was mentioning earlier, it's binary, right? It's not a JSON, it's in a binary format. So here you have to go to options and you have to say automatically pass through binary images. This is important. Okay, so click on this, automatically pass through binary images. And now you will see that the image will be used by the system. Okay, so again, save, just keep doing Control S, keep saving this. Okay, and now when you are ready, if you are ready, are you ready? Some of you? Okay, not yet. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait for 5 yeses perhaps, and then I'll go ahead. I have difficulties to copy. Okay, then fortunately I can't. If there's any other way, then perhaps we can share with you, Dana. But I think we'll have to go ahead. It's something systematic with your system, perhaps. It's not with everyone else's, or most other people are able to copy. So we'll have to go ahead. Okay? But yeah, we'll share it later on, right? Yeah, share it on WhatsApp group. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. That's also a good idea, right? Take screenshots of the message and give it to Gemini, right? Okay. That's also a good idea. Yeah. Please do that, folks. Okay. Take screenshot and use ChatGPT and stuff. Okay. Okay. Fine. Let's go ahead. Right. This is done. Now click on execute step. Okay. Execute step. See, this is an item, but it's empty. Oh no, it's running. Okay. And here something is up, something funny is up. Okay. As a professional driving license, I am unable to directly process image files. This is so bad. Okay, something is up. Maria Rodriguez, and it is giving you examples. Okay, you can just see what happened. Close extra stuff. Right. Automatically pass through binary was also done. This is done. Required. Okay, I think a few things we. Okay, let's see. Let me just see. Maybe let's just do this thing again. Okay. Maybe the image didn't quite get through. So let's do this again. Let's say execute workflow. When you say execute workflow, this thing will come up. The form will come up. Okay. And you do the same on your side, please. The form should come up. Okay. When the form does come up, please then give it an image, of course, right? So in my case, adding an image, submit, and it says form has been submitted. Okay, now if I go down, you'll see workflow is successfully executed. Right, and now you'll see, because now the data came in properly, right? It had access to the data. Now you see there is some output over here. What is this output like? So let's view it in JSON. And viewing in JSON, you'll see there are extracted fields, but it's so bad. Can someone tell me what's wrong with this? Can someone tell me what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this output? Yeah, works on my side, yes. It's not really, I mean, no, it's not really a valid JSON. It's a simple text, actually. It's not really a JSON. It's a simple text. The whole JSON is like a text string. It's not a JSON, really. Okay. So we have to make sure that this gives you output in a particular format. Okay. So here's where you have to do this. Okay? If you go back, right, exit the agent, you'll see, let me just come back to this. Okay. You'll see here there is require specific output format. Yes. So click on this, require specific output format. And the moment you did this, right, you'll see connect an output parser on the canvas to specify the output format you require. So you see now there is a new button over here, which was not there earlier. Earlier you had only 3. So if I get rid of this, you had chat model memory tool. But if you say require specific format, you'll see that there is also an output parser which has now come up. And this output parser is very interesting. Let me go back out, Control S, right? I believe there was something in the chat. Form opened, but this error submitted. Form problem submitting responses. Please try again or contact support. No, Naeem, it should not be the case. I mean, if you should connect it to this AI agent, just make sure it is connected, right? And that is the bare minimum, nothing to do with what's next. So just the form, right? Remove the AI agent and stuff if you'd like, disconnect them, keep only the form, and the form should accept something, right? If it's not accepting something, then there is some other issue going on, okay? It's nothing to do with the AI agent and stuff. Okay, right. So let's continue. So now there is an output parser, which will ensure the output is following a particular syntax or particular format. And here you click on this output parser. Now there are a couple of things. Okay, return the results as separate items. No, we want a single JSON is fine. So return data in a defined JSON format. Okay, again, output parser, structured output parser. All right, and go ahead. And here you can either specify the schema yourself, right? Exact schema, or you could give an example from JSON. So I think giving examples to JSON is much simpler for me. So I always, prefer giving a direct JSON example. So I will put that JSON example in chat, right? As well. So this is what we'll use. The example, if you see here, is this: full name, John Doe, license number is DL, this, date of birth. So I've given everything as text, by the way. There's a reason, because it helps with the database later and we can modify it later anyway. License expiry date, class license is B, is valid is true. Status message is license continue, whatever, successfully uploaded, please continue the process. And created at, right? Created at is something you will add, so we know, right, what a timestamp is, right? So created at, okay? So this is what we will use as an example. Now what the system will do is, using this example, it will infer the schema. So you don't have to manually give the schema, okay? I'm going to put this in chat, okay? Okay, put this in chat, and this is the output parser, okay? And escape and save, keep doing Control S. So just, out of good habit, Control S. So now you have the agent, everything, okay? And now you could do execute the workflow again, right? So that you can see whether now the output is better, okay? It often happens when you're working on it, it works fine. When in demo, something breaks. So let's see, execute workflow. And now I do see an extra form, okay, which is here. Okay, we can drive portal, upload driving license. Please, you all also try the same on your side. Okay, now upload. I will take an image, real sample 3. Okay, now submit. Form has been submitted. Okay, now in the background, something happened, of course. There is also some output. So click on the agent, and now you'll see things are very different. Okay, now this is actually a valid output, right? If you click on JSON, you'll see now there is a valid JSON scheme. Okay, this is super important. Okay, use use an output like parser to enforce this. Sometimes even that might not work, then you have to do some extra handling. But in general, that adding an output parser is a must in my mind. Don't do anything without it, really. Essential. Okay. So now you see all the things are here: full name, license number, date of birth, and so on. You can also look at the logs to see what the agent did. Okay. So step by step, first, it only had like 2 steps really. You see there's a system, it made something on its own. Okay. Right. And then you see there is a particular output, nothing here. Then there, wait, input, output, right? It's a JSON. This was the JSON output. I mean, this doesn't have much really. But then now you have the structure output parser. To this output parser, you'll see the input. Okay. This is what it has to parse. Created at, license, everything, right? So this is given, and then it was a very simple flow. There wasn't really much to do. But of course, it could also be more complex with like 10 different things, right? It's confused sometimes. It is doing back and forth, right? But anyway, now it works, right? Now you're able to fetch the information in a structured manner. You also have a validity given to you. It is valid or not, okay? That's cool. Now, let's do this for the sake of you have at least something functional, right? Let's now do this task where you give this feedback back to the user, okay? That upload was successful or whatever, right? Whatever the status was, remember? We want to give this back to the user, okay? And here, to give that, so what you really want is this. You have this form, okay? The form was filled. Once the form was filled, you'll see that right now it is your form has been submitted, your response. No, that's not what we want. What we really want is the extracted information to be given to the user. So we come back here, we click on this plus thing, and again search for form. Okay, but just before this, checking with all of you, did you all also get structured output as expected? Just say yes or no. Did you get the result? Right. Good. Cool. Error in subnode simple. Okay, Danang, you can remove simple memory if you'd like. Okay. I think the reason is because in simple memory, you also have to define what is the key. So you didn't set up the key possibly to search for memory. So you just remove the simple memory. Okay. It's also completely fine. It will work without it. Okay. Cool, Danang. Just remove simple memory. We are good. Okay. A model subnode. Cannot able to copy. Please add prompt to Google Doc. Yeah, Jose, I think people suggested, take a screenshot, put it into Gemini or ChatGPT, and then get the result. Okay, ask it to extract the text, and you'll get the full thing. I think this is a good workaround for now. Johnny says, I will watch the video later. I'm lost. Yeah, Johnny, this is a little bit like, as you said in the beginning, right? This is a little bit more intermediate to advanced kind of intermediate, I would say, not even fully advanced, but intermediate level. So if you're a beginner, it's really hard to follow this. But a good thing is the recording will be there. You can follow the steps in the recording, all right? Okay, right. Now, this is done. You have the data, you have the output. Now this needs to be passed, okay? And click on this, search for form. And this time, if you click on the n8n form, you will see there are 2 more options. next form page and form ending. So what n8n is really doing, right? It's not like you only have response submitted and done, you can actually have you can have multi-page journey also, first page is filled and you go to the next page, you take another input or you give some output, right? And the next page and then the final form ending, right? So you can actually build a step-by-step journey also. And that is why I was telling that, n8n perhaps is already sufficient for some simple use cases where, and if you do further customization in terms of appearance and stuff, you add your logo, add images or whatever. I think this is already okay, to start off, unless you're like a big brand or stuff, then it's not acceptable, but still, something functional or internal purposes or, for your own thing, it's really very useful. So form ending, okay? Click on form ending. And again, you will see this. Again, you just hit escape. You see this has been connected. Okay. Now, what will happen is whatever you do here in the form ending, that will come up in the main form, right? So double click on this form ending thing. Now, here, page type is form ending. Yes. What should you do? You should show either a completion screen or you can redirect it to some other URL. And that's the interesting part, by the way, right? This other URL can be whatever you'd like it to be. So you see the level of control. It's not very simple that you are limited to n8n form itself. You could have a redirection to something else. You could have a returning a binary file. You process and give it back some result, right? You show text or HTML if you'd like. Okay. So what I'll do is, because I want that I give a nice table to the user, okay, that this is what was extracted. So I will give it text. And in text, you can also have HTML. So either you can have very simple, like, oh, this is, here is what was extracted, something like that. You could add these things like this slowly. That is also fine. And now finally, you can say, okay, from the left side, you'll put some data. That is also fine. But a better way would be to give it a more structured manner, okay? So anyway, but step by step, okay? First is, let's see how to give it text, okay? Show text. Now, okay. Now is where you need to take the input from the previous node, right? Or the output from the previous node, which is input to this node, and put it over here in the text, okay? And the way to do this, actually, it's so nice in n8n. You simply can drag and drop from the left. You can go over here. You can drag and drop this thing and put it inside here. So for instance, okay, here are the details, okay? And now I do a couple of lines or whatever, and I say full name, and I put a colon here. And now if I want this variable, I just go to full name on the left and I drag and drop here, okay? And this is what you'll see. JSON, which is the previous one, you can go there, okay? JSON dot output dot full name, okay? So JSON dot output dot full name, you could either drag and drop from here, from the schema like this, or you could go to what the JSON was. You can say the most immediate input, okay? JSON dot output dot full name. Likewise, you can do other things also, of course. So you can say license number, okay? Again, you can either enter it manually, this thing, okay? JSON dot output dot license number, right? And then like this, you can do for the others, right? Date of birth, and so on. You could do all of this manually, right? And just to, this is not how we'll finally have it, but let's just keep it like this just to have it seen, okay? Control S, save this. And now if I say execute step, okay, execute step, what should happen is, it should give you an output in a new window. It will look terrible because it has nothing, it has simple text, okay? So this is what it is, okay? Sample, full name, sample Janice, license number. The text is there, it's just, not looking good, okay? So of course, there's ways to handle this. You can have HTML, custom HTML, and so on. Of course, there's so many things. But anyhow, So instead of doing this very simple thing, by the way, you can also use Markdown over here to make it look a little better. You can use HTML code over here to make it look even better, okay? But just to make it look much better, okay, what I would like to do, um, I would like to do is give it in a much more beautified format, okay? So I made a like simple HTML. Again, you can use, these days you can use Gemini or whatever for all of this. So for ChatGPT and stuff, I use that. And there is this full thing, okay? This is again using the same thing. So there's text, but you can see now there is also the same thing, json.output.fullname, right? json.output. This and so on. And what I've also tried to do, I will share this, of course, in chat. I've also tried to do is return to main screen, remember? So I will also show you how to do this. But yeah, for now, copy this, save this. I mean, I'll execute this step. Let me just put this in chat for you guys. Put this in chat. So you take this thing and maybe you can just take a screenshot, expand the window, chat window, full size, take a screenshot and ask ChatGPT to extract it for you. Okay, please do that if you can't copy. Okay, now this thing, let me just see, right? If you run this, execute this step, and now you'll see, if I show you this, now you'll see that it is much, much better. Yeah. Oh, not this one. This is much, much better. Yeah, the following details were extracted from the document. License number is so. Full name was sample Janus. In this case, a sample thing. License class is A. Expiry date is this. Validity status is true. Right? Works. DS says works. Okay. So you see already, right? It's like a very simple thing. I mean, this return to main screen, maybe you can just get rid of it. Let me just get rid of it for now, for simplicity. Go back down. This one, this href, this thing can just go. Yeah, done. Return to main screen is not needed, okay? And if I just run this, execute step, you'll see it now gets similar response, right? We don't need anything funky. So it does work, okay? You get this nice table formatted and you have this result. So this works, okay? And we can try it out for different documents if you'd like. Now you have a workflow which at least does this, right? You have a workflow which has some sort of simple front end, right? The URL. You can execute this workflow. So this thing pops up, okay? You'll see, you can also give it a try. This thing pops up. Pick and drive license upload portal. Choose an image, maybe this time, this lady perhaps, okay? Maybe it finds, if it doesn't find, optimize this. But choose an image and then it works in the background. It maybe takes a couple of seconds and you see now, okay? Valid status is false because it was still January. Yes, so valid status is false. So anyway, you can change the message also so that it, we had the status thing. We did not add it, but you can add it over here as well, right? That status is false, so it was unsuccessful or whatever. So you could do that if you'd like, right? Or you could again, give a different one where it is valid and check it out. So all of these, just give it a try. You'll see, yeah, you'll see that. Just give it a try, optimize it further if you'd like, okay? So this one, it works now, okay? Sample Janus works. So anyway, give it different formats to make it more robust. Make sure it is working for different formats as well, okay? Okay, right. So at least you have this one, right? Where you can give in an image, the AI agent will work through it. AI agent will make sure the structured output, AI agent will also give it back to you, okay? And just for the sake of completion, you see now this thing, right? When you did this earlier, if you go back to this, you had this test URL over here. So far what we were doing was a test URL, okay? If you go here, production URL, this is the link which you can share outside as well, to other people as well, Okay. As long as your machine is connected to the internet or you're using an online server, people should be able to use this URL. So for instance, if I copy this URL, if I close this, okay, Control S, and the other thing I need is making this workflow active, because this workflow is not active right now, right? So let me just minimize this, zoom in, zoom out. Okay. This right now is inactive. So if I click on this, this becomes active. And you see, the message I see is you can now make calls to your production form URL. These executions will not show up immediately in the editor, but you can see them in the execution list if you choose to save execution. You say, got it. Okay. Again, you have to click here. It was active, inactive here. So you have to click on this to make it active. And you'll see automatically I have this come up. Set up error notifications. You can set that up. You can test reliability of agents by using evals. You can do some other things like, which is not so important at this point. Okay. If you use the chat model via API, can you still have settings so that the data is not used to train the model? That is for later. Michael, this is where it's a bit tricky. So in general, so it depends on the provider actually. So Google, I know that if you are an individual, if you're using Gemini through the Gemini interface on the website, right, or the app, your personal data will be used to train Google models, Gemini models. But if you are using a corporate account, it does not use it. Likewise, if you use the API, some of them do not use data for training, but some of them do. So you just make sure to check that particular provider. I believe Google does not use it for training if using the API, but you can just ensure, just check Google, whether they use it or not. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. So now you'll see all of these things are possible, but skip this. This is now active. What does this mean? You see, there was a production URL. This production URL is now something I can share with anyone. I can open a new window or tab, share this link, okay? And you see pick and dry license upload portal. Remember, it's ugly, it's fine. We can fix it later. We can make it super beautiful if you'd like. Then choose file, right? There is a license added. You say submit. And now the whole thing is happening in the background, right? And done. Following details were extracted from the document, right? It's working, right? I mean, it is done. This is like already done. I mean, you could click on this, start a new link, upload something else, works. So now you have a URL which you can share with people, okay, right? Which you can share with people. And this is actually a functioning web application with a front end. And this whole n8n stuff, really, this is really your backend in a way, okay? It is minimalistic, but it is something, right? It is something which is working, okay? Now there's a question, can you share okay, I can share my production link, yes. Yeah, this is my production link, intake. So this is good. I mean, if you folks, those who have built something before, right? You know how it is if you're using a different place where you have a front end, a separate back end in a project and syncing and connection lost. Okay, can you guys hear me still? Yeah.
You're audible.
Right. Okay, you can hear me still. Okay. All right. So you see, right, it is quite a pain to just have something which is really there, deployed. But this one is quite straightforward, as you can see, right? Now you have something, but your URL is working and it is a function. It is functioning system in a way, okay? And if you use your local for development, of course, if your system is shut, the system stops working. But if you use n8n cloud, like I did, right? Or if some of you are doing this in trial version, this is 24/7 online, right? And n8n cloud also has a lot of options. Even in the basic cloud function, it has scalability. It can handle concurrent users. It has I think from the queue messaging queue, it also has some, I think, exactly, I don't remember, but I think it is using Redis something to manage the queue as well. So it has all of those things inbuilt for you. So if you don't want to spend all of time on that if you just want to make something quickly, right? So this is really cool, right? My link is not working. Someone says Amrita Pandey. No, my link seems to be working, Amrita. Yeah, maybe you all use it, yeah, concurrently at the same time, because that's also a good thing, right? All of you use it at the same time, maybe after. Now it's opening for me, by the way, as you can see. I mean, it's opening now. Okay, but anyway, you can use your own link and it should also work fine. Okay, but this is good. I mean, just you have to just take a moment and see, right? This, you already have a fully functioning system. Okay, it is taking much time, it is working perfect. Okay, it is working for you all as well, awesome. So you see, right, the just the power of it, right? You have already a fully functioning system. Okay, it's not, doesn't have many features, but it is still something, it still has a front end, simple front end. It still has user feedback, it still has image handling, it has image extraction, it still enforces robust structure and so on. So if you have done this already, then congratulations, right? Especially if you haven't used n8n before, if you were able to go through all of this, congratulations, you have built your first web app, right, on n8n. So it is really cool.